Have you ever had a friend who used to reply in seconds, who used to be the first one to show up, who used to have something to say about everything, and then one day, without any warning, without any fight, they just disappeared? Not disappeared like they left town, disappeared like they slowly stopped being part of your life. No dramatic goodbye, no argument, just silence. If you've ever experienced this, either as the person who was left behind, or as the person who quietly walked away, stay until the end, because by the time this video is over, you're going to understand exactly why this happens, and more importantly, why it's usually the smartest people who do it first. It never starts with a big moment. There's no single event you can point to and say, that's when it happened. It starts small. A text that used to get answered in minutes now takes a day. An invitation that used to get an automatic yes now gets a maybe, I'll see. Slowly, the group chats get quieter from their end. The weekend plans stop, including them not because they were excluded, but because they stopped showing up enough for people to keep asking. And then, one day, someone says it out loud. Have you noticed we barely talk to them anymore? Think about someone you've known who used to be the center of every gathering. The one who organized things, who remembered birthdays, who texted first. Then, over months, maybe years, they became quieter. They started saying no more often. They stopped attending things they used to never miss. From the outside, it looks like a loss, like something broke, like they changed for the worse. But what if nothing broke? What if something grew? On the outside, everyone sees withdrawal. They see someone becoming distant, harder to reach, less involved. But on the inside, something completely different is happening. This person isn't shutting down, they're filtering. They're becoming more selective about where their energy goes. Not because they don't care, but because they've started noticing things they didn't notice before. They've started noticing which conversations leave them feeling empty. Which relationships repeat the same conflicts over and over. Which environments quietly drain them long after they leave. Once you notice a pattern like that, you can't unsee it. And that awareness changes behavior, even if the person can't fully explain why yet. The first real reason is what we can call diminishing returns on socializing. Not every interaction offers the same value. Early in life, almost any social contact feels good. New friends, new conversations, new energy. But as people grow, especially intelligent, self-aware people, they start noticing that a lot of socializing has become repetitive. Same complaints, same small talk, same surface-level exchanges that don't go anywhere. It's not that they've become too good for casual conversation. It's that their tolerance for shallow interaction has dropped, while their need for meaningful connection has gone up. The second reason is about mental bandwidth. Intelligent minds are often processing more internally than people realize. Ideas, goals, problems they're trying to solve, questions about their own direction in life. This internal world takes real energy. Every notification, every unnecessary meeting, every obligatory hangout is competing directly with that internal processing. So the brain starts doing something protective. It starts filtering out low-value input to protect the high-value internal work. This isn't arrogance. It's resource management. The same way you wouldn't leave 15 browser tabs open on a slow laptop. The mind starts closing tabs it doesn't need. The third reason is a shift from quantity to quality. Somewhere along the way, this person stopped measuring their social life by how many people they know, and started measuring it by how deeply they know the few people who matter. They're not choosing isolation. They're choosing intentional connection. A handful of people who understand them versus dozens of people who only know the surface version of them. This shift often looks like disappearing to everyone outside that inner circle, but to the people inside it, the relationship often gets stronger, not weaker. Here's where most friendships actually break, not because of what's happening, but because of how it's interpreted. People on the outside see withdrawal and assume rejection. They assume superiority. They think they're better than us now. They've changed, and not for the good. In reality, it's rarely about ego. The person going through this transformation is usually the one struggling the most, trying to navigate a shift in themselves that they don't have full words for yet. They're not thinking, "I'm better than you." They're thinking, "I don't know how to explain why I need less right now." If you're watching this and wondering whether this applies to you, here are some signs. You've started declining invitations you would have automatically accepted a year ago. Group settings drain you faster than they used to. You crave depth in conversations and feel exhausted by small talk. You've become more selective, not because you're judging people, but because you're protecting something. You might also notice a strange guilt about this, like you're doing something wrong by needing space. That guilt is common, and it's usually a sign that you were raised to equate constant availability with being a good person. If any of that sounds familiar, nothing is wrong with you. Growth is rarely loud. It doesn't send an announcement. It quietly changes what you can tolerate, what you need, and who you naturally gravitate toward. Many people go through exactly this phase, often around the same points in life, after finishing school, after a major career shift, after a personal loss, or simply after years of putting everyone else's needs before their own. This isn't the end of your social life. It's often the beginning of a more honest one. The goal isn't to disappear completely. It's to be intentional about where your energy goes. A few practical shifts help here. First, communicate instead of vanishing. A short, honest message. "I've been more low-key lately. It's not about you," goes further than silence ever will. Second, protect a small circle actively. Don't let selectivity turn into total isolation. The people who matter still need real effort from you, even in a smaller dose. Third, give yourself permission to evolve without needing everyone's approval. You don't owe anyone an explanation for growing. The real difference between disappearing out of arrogance and disappearing out of awareness comes down to intention. Awareness says, "I'm stepping back to protect my peace, and I'll still show up for what truly matters." Arrogance says, "I don't need anyone." If you felt this shift in yourself, you're not broken. You're evolving. And the people who are meant to stay will understand, even in the quiet. If this video described exactly what you've been going through, or exactly what you've watched happen to someone close to you, let me know in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this on psychology, behavior, and the quiet things nobody explains, subscribe, because we're just getting started.